Hi, my name is Om Tagdawala and I'm going to show you how to use the finger joints tool on Fusion 360. Once you use it, it will look something like this, and it is much faster than manually making sketches to make things connect to each other. You'll probably be using this for your laser cutting project, so I will be saying stuff in reference to that. So first things first, let's pretend your project looks something like this. Your pieces need to be intersecting. And yeah, that's about all the setup you have to do for your project. Now I will get to installing the thing itself, the add-on. All you have to do is search up Florian finger joints, Fusion 360, and it'll probably be the first link. It's a GitHub link. You can click on it. And if you want to double check, it's by this person called FlorianPommerening. I don't know how to pronounce that, but okay. Now you click the green button that says code and click download zip. Confirm that downloads it in wherever it downloads. So it downloaded here for me in my downloads folder. It'll probably do the same for you. Next, you have to right click it and click extract all. So you don't really need to select a folder because they'll default right here anyway, which is fine. And now we go back to Fusion, which is right here. And now, sorry, I don't know why I flipped that, but okay. You go to Utilities, go to Add-ins, Fusion script and add-ins, click this plus button, script or add-in from device, and now um, check you're in the downloads folder first. Then you see this thing, right? You have to double click on it and enter it one more time so that there's another folder that also has the same name. And you need to actually select the second layer folder. So make sure it's the folder inside the main folder. So click select folder. And now all you have to do is scroll a little bit until you see where does it say? Finger joints, right here. For you, it'll probably look like this. I've already installed this, that's why it looked like that. But it'll look something like this when you find it on here, and all you have to do is select this on. Now that I've clicked that, I go to solid, and I see the symbol here. It showed there for me before, it didn't show for you before, but now it's there. And if you have a more minimized screen, you might have to click modify and scroll down, and you'll see finger joint right here. You can click on it, and yeah. Okay, so now that you have the extension downloaded, now we'll get to actually using it. So you have the finger joint, right? Or right here. I use it. Now you have to select the bodies. So let's say I'm selecting this one and I'm selecting this one. Something to keep in mind, and this is very important, your bodies or components, I'm not sure if you need to use a body. I think you have to use a body, not a component. Have to be at an exactly 90-degree angle. They have to be perfectly perpendicular. If not, it won't work right. And I'll show you in a sec what happens if you do it like that. But again, you need to make sure the two bodies are intersecting. They can't be like this, where one body ends and then another body starts. It has to be both of them are in each other, like they're intersecting. Now I have to click an axis or a direction or something. Usually it's going to be quite simple. You just select an edge somewhere and that should work. If not, you can just make a sketch line there and it'll work fine. Now I actually see that this is an example, a preview of the joint. Now I can change these options. Personally, I suggest just stick with the basic regular stuff. Another thing you can change is the size of these fingers or the size of these joints. I could make it smaller if I wanted. So you see, they got smaller, or I can leave it as they were larger. Another thing, by the way, is once you make the joint, it's very difficult to undo it. So I suggest that you know what you're doing when you're doing it. So yeah, that's how to change the size. And there's other options like gap and whatnot, but I suggest again just stick with the basics. Okay. Okay, so that was just like the regular use of finger joints, but now I'll show you what happens if you try and make it at an angle. So as I said, doing it at an angle won't work right, but I'll show you what happens. So as you see, this piece and this piece are somewhat intersecting and they're at an angle. This is about all that they're intersecting at. Now when I use finger joints on them, I select the two bodies and then I select this direction. You can't really see anything from here, But once I take it out, you see that it did create a joint in the overlapping area, but it didn't go all the way through as a joint. And so when you're laser cutting it, you can't really have pieces cut at an angle like this. And that's why you can't use this tool on angled pieces. Now, if you really wanted to, you could make a sketch right like there, make a rectangle right here, and extrude that outward. And so it would be a completely flat extrusion, but the only downside of that is that the joints would be somewhat loose and there'd probably be visible gaps there. So I suggest that you just stay away from using joints on angled pieces at all and just glue them directly together, or find another way to join them together, or do it manually, up to you. Um, yeah, so that's about all it is for using the finger joint. One more thing I want to mention is I've used this already and got my project cut out. So I've seen how it works in terms of its tolerances, and I would say that it has very good tolerances. Like they do match together, the pieces do connect together pretty nicely, but there is a lot of gap for it to wiggle in as well, so that if there was some defect in the wood or something, it would still work perfectly fine. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.